The Passover, it's a goal.
Hurry up and do it. Hurry up and do it.
Do what you have to do.
So, but we were reading that. We read it.
I've got a couple of precepts. I'll go back to verse 12, John 17 and 12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition. And then I want to jump to Numbers chapter 6, verse 22. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and his sons, saying, On this wise shall he bless the children of Israel, saying, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee.
Right.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Stop, read that again, because I got that verse highlighted too. So read that again. I got that too.
Numbers 6 and 22. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise shall he bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee. So we pray.
The camp prayer. That's supposed to be. That's another camp prayer. You write it down in the Hebrew. I believe I've got it written down somewhere in the Hebrew. And then you put out that prayer on your way to camp.
Yes, I know what you're talking about, brother. Yes.
For the Lord to keep us.
That's deep.
Come to camp.
Yeah. Bless thee.
The Lord bless thee.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face to shine upon thee.
Make the Lord's face to shine upon us.
And be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Right. Make his face to shine upon us. See, the Lord, his face is against the 2/3. The Lord's face is not shining upon none of us right now. But his grace, the blood of Yahawashi is on us. Alright? That's why we got to call on the media. That's why we say Yahawashi and Yahawashi.
In the name of.
Because it's through Yahawashi.
Yeah.
Okay.
That image as well, because in Colossians 1 and 15 it says, Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. So he's that countenance of the Lord. Because when you read and it says, My peace I give unto you, he is that peace. Because when you pronounce that blessing, you're really putting the blessing of Yahawashi on you. Because John 14 says, Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you.
Yes.
Break. Go into the say the book and the chapter.
So
that's cool.
yeah, because the blessing in Numbers chapter 6 of the Lord putting his countenance on us and giving us his peace, that's really foreshadowing the peace of Yahawashi that he gave unto us, because he said that in Isaiah 53 he's come to set at liberty the captives.
Right.
And we were all captives to this society.
Right.
We were all once Gentiles.
Right.
So now coming into, or now being freed through Yahawashi, we get that peace of the blessing of Numbers chapter 6, which is here in John 14.
Which is that blood.
John 14 and 27, Peace I leave with you.
Right.
My peace I give to you.
Right.
I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, nor be afraid. So that blessing of the Lord in Deuteronomy, so like in Numbers chapter 6, of the Lord putting his face and peace on us, is through the Son.
It's really exactly for the Yahawashi blood. For example, in Exodus, when we that Passover, talking about the Passover of the death angel, man, Yahawashi passed over and killed the firstborn of all the Egyptians in them, and anybody that didn't put the blood of the lamb upon their doorposts. All right. That blood on the doorpost now is the blood of Yahawashi. So when that Passover, when Yahawashi come again to pass over through the whole world, all right, everybody that don't have that grace, they're not gonna get mercy, man. The mercy is only gonna be on the elect.
The door is your mind. That's why it says the Most High opening up the door, no one can shut it.
Exactly, Revelations.
Is it your name?
Yeah. I want to go back to that Sirach we had, the epilogue. But hold on, I want to come to you last. I'm not finished with numbers yet.
Number 6, yeah?
Hold numbers, because I like how you broke that down. That was nice. Revelation goes on, behold, I established
27.
Any man that opened the door to me, I will suffer upon him.
Keep peace. 26.
But yeah, go on.
It's Revelation 3:20, and it says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock.
Right.
And if any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in. I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me.
Right. Now stop. Read that again.
It says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock.
Right. The Lamb stands at the door and knock. What's your door? As the brother just said, your mind. All right. How can they hear without a preacher? How can they call in him who that not heard? How can they call in him unless they be sent? Unless that man be sent. So when the prophets are sent, that's Yahawashi knocking at the door of your mind. That's the Lamb. We're all representations of the Lamb on earth right now. We're representations of Yahawashi on earth, man.
You know, to make it to further amount to more, we're actual lambs ourselves, because the scripture says that we are to pretty much put ourselves out there as a sacrifice.
Right.
Living sacrifice.
Yeah, and we're
sacrifice.
Right. We're flocks, because Yahawashi is a shepherd, and we're the flock. So we be lambs too. So we're knocking at the door of, and it says, if any man have the ear, read it.
It says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door,
The sheep hear of my voice and follow. Right?
I will come into him, and I will sup with him,
Right.
and he with me.
Sup with him. Meaning Yahawashi gonna sit down. You're not gonna sup with your enemy, somebody that you hate. You're gonna sit down and you know, they invite you in, and then you sit down at a table and break bread with somebody that you hate, man, that you're at war with. You're gonna sit down and break bread and sup with somebody who you're at peace with. And the brother talking about peace, okay? And that's that blood being put in your mind. That's that mark being put in your forehead. When you let Yahawashi in, when you eat the spiritual bread, when you drink the spiritual wine, when you drink the spiritual this milk, okay? When you eat of Yahawashi's blood, drink his blood and his flesh. Now you brought a thing on talking about cannibalism now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. That's why some guys left Yahawashi, because when he said you're eating my flesh, that's why some guy left him. About I feel like 70 guys left him. Because he was more than 12, he had like a bunch of guys following him.
Yeah.
And then 70 left because they thought he was talking about eating up and eating. Alright? But the point is when you brought this in, that's when that blood is on you, that mercy is on you, okay? And then, you know, you get delivered in the end. So, Numbers.
Yeah, the book of Numbers chapter 6 verse 22. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Right. So the Most High has given us peace, man. Okay? That's why when you see all these people like bugging out, you know, mentally disturbed and shit, we don't have that problem. Why? Because we always know that we can refer back to the scriptures that gives us what? Comfort. These people have no comfort.
Right.
They involve in sexual deviance,
right.
drug abuse, all kinds of nonsense to comfort them, man. They give them some type of comfort in their decrepit lives, man. Their decrepit lives.
So they do everything extremely.
Yeah.
They start to get drunk, extremely get drunk, you know.
They don't even do it in moderation. You know? No, just over sexualized.
Yeah.
You know, everything's out. Skin, everything's out, man. Okay? Why? Because them people don't have no peace.
Right.
They have got no comfort. They don't have what we have. Again, this is a gift and it's a blessing. And you've got precepts because I want to go back to that.
When you really check it out, it's just Western culture. Because when you go to different parts of the world, they don't operate like this. They don't be doing this, flaunting their breasts, showing their ass. There's a level of respect that people have within themselves. These people out here is animals.
Right. That's right.
This is 1 Peter 1:18, and it says, For as much as ye know that you were not redeemed with the corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by the traditions of your fathers, but with the precious blood of Yahawashi, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. Just going on to the point that, it's Yahawashi's blood that covers us, because he was that sacrificial lamb. Because during the Passover, you had to get a lamb 1 year old. It has to be, completely no blemish on it.
Right.
But Yahawashi, when he came, he became the ultimate sacrifice because he had no sin at all.
Right.
So he was, because Israel we had gone so far off that the Lord was no longer accepting any sacrifices for sins.
Right.
You can bring your dove, like the brother said earlier on, that Jack would fuck up now and say, I'll just sacrifice the dove tomorrow.
Yeah.
You bring any type of sacrifices, the Lord started rejecting all our sacrifices, man. So there had to be a way or a sacrifice that will bring us back now to Yahawashi.
Right.
That will bring us back to the Lord, and that's what Yahawashi was, man.
Right.
It became that sacrifice that the Lord finally accepted.
Right.
Okay, him I accept now.
Yeah.
Complete no sin.
Yeah.
You didn't go off at all.
Yeah.
That the Lord accepted, and this is why today we have the truth now.
Right.
Woo, that's
And that's-
beautiful.
And that doesn't mean for them Christians out there that just because Yahawashi, is the ultimate sacrifice that we can just do what we want.
No, no.
He said it himself. That the law still stands, man. Matthew 5 and 17.
brother.
Yeah,
Of course,
all it
of
is
course.
is like a safety net.
Yeah,
If you're walking, if you fall in any way, there's a safety net for us. Whenever we go off, there's a, what I'm saying, safety net. What safety net is, when Jesus climbing a mountain. If you fall, something holds on you.
Yeah.
That's what Yahawashi is, man. Where we fail,
There's always grace.
yeah, there's grace there.
Right. There's always faith, because we're not justified by the law.
Yes.
Okay? We're not justified by the keeping of the law. As it tells you, somebody find me the scripture where it says if you break one, you're guilty of breaking the law.
Right.
And then get the scripture if it says, he that goeth by the law, you got to keep all the things contained in the law, otherwise you're underneath the curse. It's in Galatians. Everyone can put that out. That's in
This is James 2:10, and it says, "For whosoever shall keep the whole law,
Yes.
and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all."
Exactly. So you understand why we can't be justified by the law.
613.
I mean, right now, brothers is breaking the law, man.
Right now.
I guarantee your garment is mingled with some type
That's
of
it.
external garment, fabric. Right now, while we're on camera speaking about righteousness, we're breaking the law right now. I guarantee while we're in the camp right now, brothers was thinking something forward. Like a demon came to your mind, made you think something completely off, man. So even the way we think is off. That's why it said, even if you look at another man's wife, that's adultery, man. Just by thinking something in your head towards another man's wife, you're going off there. Even though you didn't physically do it. Just by you thinking it, you're going off.
Scary, brother.
You see what I'm saying?
Scary,
you see why we can't be justified by the keeping of it? It's not because we're not lawful by nature. By nature, we're not lawful. We're not.
You're programmed that way anyway.
So the Lord knoweth our frame, which is why the Lord have mercy upon us and say, you know what? I'm going to bring your salvation through another means, which is by grace, by Yahawashi's blood. That's how I'm going to make you exempt from judgment. That's how I'm going. Not by your works are you going to be exempt, but just by grace alone, you're going to be exempt from judgment. By you having faith. All right? By faith, you're exempt. All right? Good.
It's Galatians 5:3, and it says, "For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Yahawashi is become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law, ye are fallen from grace."
Break it down.
So basically, because the Jews then, they trying to keep the whole law, Paul's breaking down to them. You wanna continue in the law, you're gonna have to keep the whole law. Okay, if you break one, like James said, if you break one, you've broken them all. And then trying to keep the whole law is basically saying I don't need Yahawashi. You know?
Right.
I can do it myself. I don't need Yahawashi. You know?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's what they say. They saying, look, we don't
Exactly.
need the Torah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making fun of the name, Yahawashi.
Exactly.
He's going to be condemned for this.
Exactly. That's what the IUIC do. Because by them saying the law, you're basically making void Yahawashi.
So
So there's no point of him. There's no point of Yahawashi.
But they've already done that anyway because they're not even calling the name of Yahawashi, man. So they've already voided Yahawashi.
So what do you think when Yahawashi come? What do you think the Most High going to do to IUIC? If IUIC is making void Yahawashi, when Yahawashi come, he's not going to show no mercy to IUIC. Unless you got brothers that are of the elect in there. But IUIC is going to get broken down because that's not founded back on the name of the Lord, man. Get that.
Numbers 21 verse 5, and it says, and the people spake against the Most High and against Moses, wherefore ye have brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness.
Right, so at one point our people was talking shit against Moses. Because Egypt, slavery was the only thing that they knew.
Yeah.
When Moses told them about land of their own, you're thinking, man, what's this nigga talking about, man? Well,
For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathe this light bread.
yeah, so Moses probably scared. He thought, these people gonna kill me. These people gonna kill me because Moses probably started doubting himself. He said, maybe they're right, man. I brought them out here just to get killed.
Oh, man.
They only talking about bread. They had bread in Egypt. They want bread. We're thinking, now, there was this nigga here. We about to die in this wilderness. I ain't got no bread. I ain't got no water. I need to feed my babies. And this nigga here talking about some kingdom. Let's go back.
Because Aaron gave in and he built.
Yeah, Aaron gave in because exactly.
He gave in, yeah.
Aaron gave. They brought Aaron down, man. Aaron, they played on his man, man. How was that, man? Make these people right, man.
Because he's the one that commanded me to bring all your gold.
Yeah. You know, because when Moses went up to 40 days and 40 nights, I was like, oh no. These people gonna kill me. And he's like, alright, man, niggas. Bring your gold.
Yeah.
He brought, because through fear and unbelief, Revelations 21. he made a molten calf.
I got a precept, you know.
The pressure was on him, man.
Exodus 17:3. And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us, and our children and our cattle with thirst? One more. 4. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see exactly. That's exactly what he was like. Oh man, I need to run away and pray to God and say, man, these people are about to stone my house, man. He was shitting brick because he's mortal.
Yeah.
He's only one man. He's only one man. He had all the millions, the armies of Israel, they exit Egypt. They're about ready to kill him, man. They're about ready to kill him.
So you got to remember as well that they saw all the miracles, all the plagues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The parting of the sea, and after all that, they're still being
talking.
niggas.
They were still talking mess, man. After all that,
Still worshiping gods. Saying them gods in the sick.
Crazy.
yeah, because like now, if you tell our people about the kingdom of our, like what we're doing right here, that's why Jake don't come up and listen. Because Jake only knows captivity. That's all they know. All they know is listen to their mama, listening to Esau, the Egyptians, the modern day Egyptians, worshipping the modern day Egyptian idols. That's all they know. So when you tell them about the kingdom, that's a fantasy to them, man. That's make believe.
That's why Yahawashi said when he did the miracles in where he comes from, he said to them, if I did these works in Sodom and Gomorrah, they would have repented.
Yeah.
You know, but you've seen all these works I'm doing, and they still didn't repent. And still looking at
Wait, are you finished with that?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Go.
Numbers 21 and 5. And the people spake against the Most High and against Moses, wherefore ye have brought us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness, for there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth like bread.
Right.
And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died.
But just
Right.
if you want to know, just
So continue reading. Continue
Yeah.
reading to verse 9.
From verse 7, therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee.
So the Most High put fiery serpents, man. Okay, that had a like, very poisonous bite, man, among the people, and bit some of them. Go ahead.
Pray unto the Lord Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if the serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
So read that again because I'm got distracted.
Verse 9. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if the serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
Right, because when you go into hospital, you often see like a staff circle on it.
Yeah.
They got that from the scriptures.
The DNA symbol.
Yeah, and that's like a healing thing.
Right.
They got that out of the Bible. So read that part again.
From verse 8, Deuteronomy
verse 8.
21 and 8. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole,
Make a fiery serpent and set upon a pole. Go ahead.
and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live.
So any person that was bitten by those serpents that the Most High sent on them, if they look upon that pole, they will live. Now that pole represents symbolically Yahawashi. Okay? That symbolically represents Yahawashi, man. That if you look upon the Son of Man, Yahawashi, if you come and believe, if you look upon that pole, you're going to get that grace. You're going to get the Lamb's blood. Okay? So we read verse 8 again.
And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he shall look upon it, he shall live.
Right. So everyone that comes onto this, they're exempt. They're exempt from judgment. Okay? They're gonna live. They're gonna get everlasting life. Okay? So that's what that metaphor really represents, is Yahawashi, man. Go ahead.
He said it in the scriptures, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me.
Really?
Yeah, Yahweh says it.
Yeah, find that, man, because that just goes into it, man. That confirms it, if you can, man. Well, we're gonna come to you 1 second. I know you have to.
we're not going to put you on camera, man. We're not going to put you on camera.
No, I just go very much.
You've been there for a long time, man.
This brother knows scriptures. This brother knows scriptures.
Brother deep, man.
We're gonna bring him up, man.
Brother's deep.
Yeah, in June.
I
gotta go, man.
He's coming in June, brother. He's coming out in June.
Alright, this is the
I
book
want
of
to see some
John,
scriptures that I never heard of coming on, man.
John chapter 12 verse 32. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me.
Yeah. See that? That goes hand in hand with what we was reading in Numbers. If I be lifted up, that staff for the serpent. Alright? Yeah, go ahead.
And then back in Numbers 21 verse 9, and Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
Right. He lived. Alright? So the Most High made it where that guy lived. I didn't die of that bite. Okay? That's right. So that's that grace. That's that mercy. Alright? That we're all, the Most High predestined us with, man. Okay? That's right. So that's I just wanted to bring that out. You got any piece up? Let's go back to Sirach. Let's go back to that thing.
That goes into faith, because
Yeah, right. So
Oh yeah, because the fact that because they're saying guys when Moses would lift up the fiery serpent, they didn't believe that would save them.
Yeah,
the battlefield, man. But there's some that knew that if they're looking up at it, they'll they'll leave, man. So that separated those that had faith and those that did not have faith.
right. So that alone was faith. If you looked and you believed that it would heal you, some people they were suffering so much, they're like, man, this don't save me nothing more. They looked and they lived. Some didn't and they died. That's the ones that didn't have faith. That represents the 2/3. Okay?
And you know, it's when you read about that snake, the poisonous snake, that same snake is mentioned in John the 3rd chapter. Because you know, in John 3, like you got a lot of Christians, they like to talk about John 3:16, they like to bring that out, like that's gonna save them. But when you read the first particular verse in John 3, it talks about, makes reference to the poisonous snake, which goes back to the story of Israel. So it's all Israel. So John 3:16 is out of the equation. You Christians can't use that anymore.
John 3:16.
That's expired.
He gave his only begotten son.
Yeah, that's so much.
Exactly. So that's hand in hand.
Yeah.
Whosoever believeth in him.
Yeah.
Bring out John 3:16.
This is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loveth the world that he gaveth his only son, his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
So those people lived. Those Israelites lived. Whosoever believeth in him, because the Lord could have had them all destroyed right there and then. He could have had them all killed. But the Most High so loved the world, and that world represents Israel.
Right.
They don't talk about everybody on the planet.
That's it.
For God, so that's like their favorite. That just summarizes the Bible, man. That one verse. For God so loved the world, man.
But then but it says in the scriptures that Yahawashi spoke openly to the world.
Yeah.
So what's up with that? What's up with that,
So,
man?
exactly. So now we got something going on here. So now we got. Give me on. You know when it says it's in the Luke. It says how Augustus went out to decree that all Judah should be taxed. So.
Because see, an average Christian, they'll read that and say, look, see, you Israelites are going off because Yahawashi or Jesus Christ spoke openly to the world. So what world is he talking about? The brother's going to go into it.